Hi everyone, welcome back to Data Testing Zone. So yesterday we saw how to load our CSV file to Postgres. Okay, so just to recap, this is what we wrote yesterday, and this is we tested as well by loading the CSV file and saw that our data was sitting in Postgres table named as Superstore. So you can see the data over here in Supabase. Okay. Would like to suggest some changes here in this because I after seeing the data in Supabase, I felt like the column names that are there, they have space between them, which is not a good practice generally. Okay, so what we will do is we will refine this data frame a little bit and then load it into Postgres. ठीक है, तो ये हम लोग कैसे करेंगे? I'll give you steps for this. Okay, so what we will do in this particular Python file only, we will write a script to clean the df. Okay, so let us do that. We will just say that clean columns, and then we will say df, and then pd dot data frame. It has to be in bigger character, I think. Okay, so this is what we will do. Okay, and then we will say that, and we will just do that this will return data frame only, pandas dot data frame, pd dot data frame. Okay, this will return this. Just a second. Okay, now we will create we will create the columns, and we will replace the column name, the spaces and other characters with just underscore. Okay, so we will say df dot columns is equal to, in this parenthesis, and then we will say df dot columns dot, and then we will just put the column names as string, and then we will first strip, that is, it will remove any kind of spaces that are there. Then again we will do cr dot lower, it will convert the column names into lower characters. Okay, small characters as it, and then we will do string dot replace, and then we will replace the space with underscore. Good, and then we will replace any kind of dash or hyphen with underscore. Got it? तो ये वाला फंक्शन एक्चुअली आपके सारे ब्लैंक स्पेसेस को, कॉलम नेम्स में जो भी ब्लैंक स्पेसेस है या एक्स्ट्रा स्पेसेस है एट दी एंड, ट्रेलिंग स्पेसेस है, वो उसको स्ट्रिप कर देगा और फिर सारे ब्लैंक स्पेसेस को और हाइफेंस को अंडरस्कोर से रिप्लेस कर देगा. ठीक है, एंड देन वी विल रिटर्न df. Okay, now what we will do is, after reading this, we will call this function. Okay, so we will do df is equal to clean columns and then provide the df here. ठीक है, तो इससे ये हो गया कि हमारा जो df है क्लीन हो जाएगा. Now while writing this, we will be using this particular df and writing it over here. ठीक है, तो we will do here like clean df, maybe we will rename it. It is a good practice to provide the df that is, and then we will do here as well clean df. Okay, so this is the refreshed data loader. Now what you have to do again, the way we have tested it, you have to again put the go and get the connection string. Now if you want to know where to get the connection string, you can go to your project and then you can connect, click on connect, you will get the connection string over here. ठीक है, तो आप डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन वाली लिंक ना ही यूज करो या कम यूज करो तो बेटर है, बिकॉज दिस इज फॉर हेवी लोड्स. ओके, एंड वेरी ट्रांजिएंट लोड्स, but we will use transient pooler wala, so string connection. So you just need to copy it. Okay, and then you need to put your password over here. Okay, and then you need to put this in your framework over here. Okay, once you put this here, you have to press enter or you have to run it, and then the file will be loaded with the spaces gone between the column names. तो अभी तक जो आप जो हमने जो टेबल लास्ट टाइम यूज किया था उसमें आप लोगों ने स्पेस देखा रहेगा कॉलम नेम्स में. ठीक है, तो अब जब हम लोग ये वाला कोड रन करेंगे तो ये जो स्पेसेस है ये चले जाएंगे. सो लेट अस डू दैट. ओके, So I will just put my password over here. I'll do this and run it. So I'm putting the password. You guys can also do it along with me. Okay. It's running. Great. It ran. Now I will share my screen again and show you what happened just now. So let me share my screen again and you guys can follow along. Now you see it has printed 99994 records into Superstore data. Now when you will go to the table again in Supabase, and then you just need to refresh it. Now when you see the columns are converted into lowercase and there is a underscore between each of the letters, right? Each of the word. So this is what we needed actually, because when you query it further, right? तो आपको query करने में problem आ सकता है अगर spaces रहेंगे तो. So better to make this, in a clean approach so that we don't get that kind of issues in future. ठीक है? So we will do some more transformations going along, because if you see order date, ship date are in text format, this we need to convert it into timestamp. So we will do that as well. But for now, we are good till here. Okay. So the next code that we are going to write is to connect to Postgres. Now we have written the data, right? Now where we will read this data from? We will be reading this data from Postgres so that you can feel the real time यूसेज राइट. हम लोग सीएसवी से डेटा रीड करके वहां पे ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन नहीं करते हैं या टेस्टिंग नहीं करते हैं. वी जनरली रीड डेटा फ्रॉम एनी ऑफ द RDBMS systems that exist in our that exist in cloud or that is hosted locally, like that, right? I mean on-prem database, like that. So we will now connect to Postgres and read the query and read the data from there. ठीक है. So to read the data, we will establish a connection. So for that, this is DB connection only, right? Yes. So here we will be writing a DB connection code. So we will do first import. So what is the library that is used to read data from, to establish connection to Postgres? PyComG. Okay. So once we do this, create a class. Class as in it is reusable, right? So I mean, it is a good practice that we create class and then define the methods inside this, and then call with just one object, we can call all the methods that are described inside a class. So we will create a class as DB connection. ठीक है. Then we will create a constructor. So whenever you create a constructor and provide some parameters, every time we create an object of that class, right, it will ask for the parameters. So these are the parameters that we have to give every time we create an object of this class. ठीक है. So we will put it as host, DB name, or user, ठीक है, or password, and then port is equal to 5432. Okay. So these are the parameters that we will give while we create a object of this class. अभी हम लोग इसको कनेक्शन को ट्राई कैच ब्लॉक में डालते हैं so that our code doesn't give failures abruptly. That is not a good practice in industry. So let us do the connection, establish the connection, PyComG. Okay. और फिर इससे we will call connect. ठीक है. अब connect के अंदर we will give the same parameters. We will just reinitialize it. Host is equal to host. DB name is equal to DB name. Spelling mistake. Okay. Okay, I'm very bad in typing, I feel. That is fine. Good. User is equal to user. Okay. Password is equal to password. Then port is equal to port. ठीक है. What it is. So require. ठीक है. SSL mode require, why I'm putting it, ये सारे parameters तो आपको पता होंगे. ये इसलिए डाल रही हूँ क्योंकि जब हम लोग Supabase से connect करते हैं तो SSL authentication जरूरी होता है. ठीक है. तो that is why we do it and then we put it as require. If you don't put it, you will get SSL authentication error. ठीक है. तो it is a good, I mean, it is mandatory to put when you connect to Supabase. Self dot connect dot. We'll do auto commit. Auto commit is nothing but if you do any kind of insert, update, or this, so you don't need to commit again and again. So that is why it is it is a good practice when you connect to Postgres that you put auto commit is equal to true. Okay. You can skip as well. You can put none, but like this is good to have. Now next is connected to Postgres. So here we have connected to Postgres. If everything runs good, we will be connected to Postgres. If not, right? We have already put this in try and accept block. So if not, then we will catch the error in accept block. ठीक है? Accept and then operation error as E. Why it is showing an error? Is it? We need to create class. I don't think operation error. Was it operational error? Oh yes, it is operational error. Okay, and then we will put it from fine. Now we will do a connection error, and then we will put it as E. Okay, and then self dot connection is equal to none. Obviously we are building a connection, so it is not going to return anything. ठीक है, ये बस connection establish करेगा, ये वाला जो function है, जो constructor है. Now next function that we are going to build is run query. ठीक है, so run query it will be again it will okay just putting self. ठीक है, now we will see if self dot connection, then we will run the query. No, we will first pass if not self connection so that we can see that if connection is there or not. Okay. Now we will see, we will type as, we will get the output as no active DB connection. Okay. Now next is if there is any connection, then if there is not any connection, then it will show as no active DB connection, and then it will return as none. It will go once it sees return, it will not do anything else now. Now if it is not there, then we will, if it is connected, then we will put it in try and accept block, and then we will just run the query self.connection.cursor. Okay. Self.connection.cursor as view. Good enough. Now we will run the query. Cursor.execute and then query. Okay. Now this is going to run the query, and then we will try to get the results. Try return dot fetch all. Fetch all will get all the results. Okay. So till here we are good. I am okay. Now if it is not, then we will put this in except block, and we will try to J2 dot programming error. Okay. This is again a spelling mistake. Forgive me for this. Okay. And then we will just go for return none. Okay. Now again, if the query is insert, why we have written this one is suppose if the query is insert, update, or delete, right? So there will be nothing to fetch. It is a put kind of operation. So in that case, it will return none. Got it? Now if we got for those kind of operations, now we will close this particular try catch. Put your accept. Okay, and then exception as E. No, this exception. Okay, exception as E, and then we will put why what was the error while running the query. Query error, and then we will put as E. Okay, and then we will return none. Cool. So what we have done here is we have created a class, we have initiated a constructor, and we have provided all this as the parameter for this constructor. So whenever we create an object of this class, we need to give all these parameters as well. The next function that we have created is run query. So first it will check that if there is an active DB connection or not. If there is no active connection, it will then and there return none. Okay. And if there is an active connection, then it will execute the query. Once we execute the query, we will fetch the results. Now, suppose if a query has insert, delete, or update kind of operation, then in that case, we won't have anything to fetch, right? So we are doing this in try and except block. Okay. So if there is something returned by the query, it will give it in fetch all. If not, then it will return none. Okay. And then next is if there is an error in the overall query only. ठीक है, तो ये एक्सेप्ट ब्लॉक में हम लोग डाल रहे हैं. But till here, next function that we will be creating is to close the connection. It is very important that whenever you establish a connection, you should close it as well. Okay, I'm forgetting it inside a class, so I should not put self again and again. Okay, if self dot connection, so it will check, then it will close it. Self dot connection dot close. Okay, and then it will print connection closed. Good. So this is the entire function that is going to do your connection operation. Okay. Now let us test this function, this class and the functions along with this class. See, it is very important that we go on testing. जब हम लोग कोई एक spy file complete कर रहे हैं, तो हम लोग उसको test करते जाए, because at the end when we will run the test on top of these files, right? You might get an error. तब उस समय troubleshoot करना difficult हो जाता है. So that is why it is important that you test it along with, so that you don't face issues while at the end of this, end of this entire framework. So what we will do is we'll create an object, ठीक है, DB connection, और फिर यहाँ पे as I said, जब भी हम लोग ऑब्जेक्ट बनाएंगे, ये पैरामीटर्स हम लोगों को बाय डिफॉल्ट देना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. तो नाउ हाउ टू गिव दिस पैरामीटर्स, इट इज सिंपल एनफ. आप यहाँ पे होस्ट डालिए, और होस्ट का हमें वैल्यूज कहाँ से मिलेगा. तो गो टू योर अगेन सुपरबेस. ठीक है. सुपरबेस में आप जाओगे तो आपको यहाँ पे कनेक्ट जो बटन, जो लिंक है, आप क्लिक करोगे. इसमें आप ट्रांजैक्शन पूल वाली जो भी ये वाले जो पैरामीटर्स है, यू हैव टू टेक दिस. ओके. सो व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, होस्ट ये है, करेक्ट. सो वी विल पुट दिस इनसाइड आवर होस्ट नेम. ओके. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज होस्ट डाल दिया हमने. व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट पैरामीटर, दैट इज इट इज आस्किंग डीबी नेम. सो डीबी नेम, इफ यू विल चेक, so db name is Postgres. Okay. So we will go back to our framework and we will put db name is equal to Postgres. Okay. This is not required. Why did I put this? Okay. Let me just clean this up. Okay. So it is giving Postgres, and then what is the next parameter that is needed? It is asking for user, password, port. Got it. So user is something like this. ठीक है. और Postgres का p small है, so we will just change it. Now we will put, इसको पहले छोटा कर देते हैं, और फिर user, ये नहीं रहेगा इन्वर्टेड में, user is equal to this. अभी ठीक है. password, I have to put my password. Okay. So I am just keeping it for here so that when I run it, I will just, so suppose my password is this. Okay. For now, I just kept it. It is not my actual password though. And then port, it was also there, right? Port number क्या था इसका? Port number was 6543. ठीक है. Port number was perfect. ये हो गया पूरा कनेक्शन. ठीक है. अभी what we will do is we will this is the object of the class. Now we will call the function db.run query. ठीक है. अभी we will give what query we need to run. तो suppose मुझे query run करना है. Query is equal to select star from superstore data this was the table name, right, that we created जब हम लोग data load कर रहे थे. The table name was Superstore data, correct? So we will take this table name, we will put it here, and then we will put as where ship mode. एक बार data देख लेते हैं. I'll just try to limit the data so that you can see it better in the terminal. Let us do ship mode is equal to second class. ठीक है. Ship mode is equal to we have used this here, so फिर ऐसे करते हैं. ठीक है. Now this is the query that I want to run. I will pass this query over here और मैं इसको print करती हूँ. And then let me limit it. Let me limit it to 5. तो ये 5 ही results, top 5 results दिखाएगा. Now I will print it. ठीक है. और ये करने के बाद what I have told, it is very important that you close your DB connection as well. It is why? Because you don't want to keep anything up and running, right? It doesn't make sense. तो ये जो okay, this is not df, this is db, and this is also db. ठीक है. And we are doing it like this. So what I will do is I will unshare my screen for a moment. I will put my correct password and I will just run this Python file. ठीक है. So you can do it as well with me, and you can see that the query will run, and then you will get the correct results over here. Okay. So let me do it. It has to be okay. So yep, I ran this. Perfect. Now I will just, I hope you all also went to, I mean, your query was successful. So let me again share my screen and show you how the results look like. Okay. So I'll just replace my password again, and now you see that we have got first five rows from the data. ठीक है. We have also got connected to Postgres when it ran it, and then we have closed the connection as well. So perfect. We are good till here. We have connected to Postgres. Now we will be doing all the read and write operations from Postgres only. One time load था CSV फाइल. अब वहां से हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे. हम लोग जो भी डेटा के साथ जो भी टेस्टिंग करेंगे वो डायरेक्टली Postgres से कनेक्ट करके करेंगे. ठीक है. So that you get the feel of real time environment. Okay. Now we will see what will be the utilities that we will be creating in next lecture. Okay. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you for watching.